Time.
What time are we doing tomorrow?
Time.
Tomorrow, I think 6 o'clock, right? That's what we decided. 6 o'clock. Nope. Did 6 o'clock work for everybody last week, or most everybody?
It was very good. It was good.
Fine.
Yes.
That enables Aron to make early shots, right?
Yaakov, was it Nachi?
No, the next one.
Alexa?
Yeah.
Wait, so Yaakov
Brown is
Kiddush this week? When is it Kiddush?
It's a boy.
Oh, the boy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Brown is doing something different, by the way. It's not a matter of restrictions. They're building him like a cage.
Oh.
Brown.
Yeah, he's going to raise money.
They're building him a plastic
cage.
Plastic.
What?
What are they doing? Remember, what are they doing?
He's going to have a cage match with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, they borrowed it from the WWF.
Right.
They're building him a whole thing. That's why he didn't go. His shul opened up, I heard, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, but he didn't come. He's coming this week.
It's like a
They
dunking
finished
cage.
building.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
they built
let's
him a
go.
whole
Yeah,
plastic thing.
Okay, so
You have to go visit Yaakov.
they don't allow it.
Yaakov, we can't see you.
Why not?
I don't know.
Zach, if you turn off your camera, maybe, Chaco.
I turned off my.
Love it.
Oh, who put on Zadie Duff?
Harris, maybe.
That's awesome.
All right, I'll change it.
Out the Zadie.
Okay. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So the Daf Tzadivav. So we started off with all the Tum and Taro, how big the kli has to have a hole in it. Then that was the end of the perek. Hadron Aloch. Then we started with. Hazoyrek, yeah, throwing from one private property to a public property, and then we said throwing from a private property to a private property through public property is machlokes. And examples of handing things from porch to porch, which it's only going to be chayav if you go from one porch in front of the other porch, not one porch across from the other. That was Amud Aleph. Amud Beis, we tried to figure out where do we know that carrying where is the isser from carrying from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim is not allowed. And then we said the Av Malacha is going from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim, and the toldah is going from Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaYachid. And then we said, why do we need to know the difference between an Av and a toldah? So we had two terutzim for that. And where we know that throwing something 4 Amos in public property in Rishus HaRabim is chayav. And then, okay, that's what we're up to. Then we're up to the Mekoshish. Yeah? So Grada, what we're going to learn tonight has to do with this week's Parsha. Okay, so let's see. Zok the Gemara, 4 wide lines down, page 192 on my Gemara, but it's Sadi Vav on the base. Okay? Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Yeah, we have it? Go all in there? So Mekoshish, the Mekoshish, right? So Mavir, Arba Amos Rishus HaRabim Hava. What the Isser that he did, even though the translation of Mekoshish really means to gather, right? But what was the Isser that he did?
Where are you?
I'm on Tzadi Vav on the base, but 4 wide lines down.
Two dots.
I think the recording ended at 2 dots prior.
Did it? We definitely
No,
got
from
up to
the
2
wide
dots.
lines, Pondi. From the thin lines, 4 lines down.
Not
first
from the
dot.
bottom. You're not up from the bottom.
Not from the bottom. 4 wide lines down.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. I got the right place now. Okay.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. Okay,
No
so
problem.
Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Mekoshish Maver Abba Amos Rishus HaRabim. The Mekoshish literally means the gatherer, right? So he went out and he did something wrong. He did a chilul Shabbos in the midbar, and he got punished for it. So we're saying that the Mekoshish carried 4 Amos Rishus HaRabim Hava. The Masnisa Ton and the Brisa learned Toilish Hava. He didn't carry 4 Amos Rishus HaRabim. He actually pulled the wood. He detached the wood from the ground, right? Which is a chayav, which is kaitzer. Rav Acha bar Rav Yaakov amar ma'amer hava. He piled it up, right? Piling up fruits or vegetables is also a problem. So those are the 3 options. Lamay nafkamina. So like we discussed like a week or 2 ago, I don't remember what daf it was. Like, who cares what happened historically? I mean, we care about history. That wasn't a hit at all the history classes. What I'm saying is that the Gemara, when the Gemara wants to discuss history, it has to have a practical application, right? Otherwise, we'll have it in the history books, the Seder Hayom or whatever it is. Oh yeah, we set up an Ageya to the 3 days before what day Shavuos is. So for that, for Nida, it had a practical application. So what's the practical application here? What the Mekoshes did wrong? The Ma'inaf Kamina. Look at the Rav. Da'amar Rav Matzasi Megillah Starim Bei Rab Chia. I found a Megillah Starim, a hidden Megillah by Rab Chia. V'kasabei Isi ben Yehuda Aimer Abbas Malachas Arbaim Chaser Achas. He says that Abbas Malachas is 40 minus 1. Okay, that we should all be familiar with. Ve'einei chayav, skipping the parentheses. Ve'einei chayav ela achas. You're only chayav for one, meaning there's 39 malachas and you're only chayav for one. There's an obvious question there. Achas besula, you're only chayav one and that's it. But Tanan, it says in the Mishnah, Avos malachas abayim chaser achas. There are 40 malachas minus one. Vavinamba minyana lamali, and we discussed why do you need the counting for? We had this quite a few times. The reason why we're saying 39 is to teach you that if you did all 39 in one forgetting, meaning you forgot it was Shabbos, and you did all 39. Chayav al kol achas v'achas, you are required to bring a korban on each and every one. Right? So clearly you're chayav for all 39, not just one. So this Megillah Starim from Isi ben Yehuda can't be correct. Because again, he had said that there's 39 malachas, you're only chayav for one of them without specifying which one. And here we clearly see that there's 39 malachas and you're chayav 39. So the Gemara says, Ema eina chayav al achas mehem. One of them you're not chayav for. Not that you're chayav on one of them. You're one of them you're not chayav. Meaning, so there's 39 malachas, 38 of them you're going to get punished for, and one you're not going to get punished for. Right?
So Yaakov, what's the practical application of it being a malacha?
Oh, so now we didn't finish yet. So Rabbi Yehuda pshitale da mavir chayav. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it was pasha to him that the one that for sure your chayav is carrying. Umasnisin ein chayav al achas mehem. I'm sorry, did I just jump? Did I lose the place? I'm going to see some pshitale the toilish chayav, right? That should be masnisa, right? Not masnisin, masnisa again. Rabbi Yehuda pshitale the ma'avir chayav. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it was pasha that carrying is 4 amas is chayav, and that's how do you know that from the Mekoshish. Umasnisim pshitale the toilish chayav. In the Mishna, the Brisa is pasha that detaching is chayav. Rav Acha bar Yaakov pshitale the ma'amar chayav. To him, it was pasha that ma'amar is chayav. Mar savar hamiyas loy mesavko. Mar savar hamiyas loy mesavko. This one holds that this malacha there was no doubt about it, that for sure you're chayiv. Umar savar hamiyas loy mesavko, and this one held that this one for sure is no suffix. Meaning, so we don't know which one you're not chayiv, but we do know for sure that mekoshesh, ma'amir, or toilish, each one according to their opinion is for sure one of them that are chayiv. Right, one of those you definitely are chayiv for. Okay,
yeah, but
that's the practical thing.
Right, but Seif Kol Seif, one of the malachas are not chayiv.
Correct.
Why would you not be? What then? Fair, but what would be the reason for it to be a malacha? Practically speaking, you're not chayiv. And who cares?
Why would you even call it a malacha? Why would you?
It's not a malacha. It doesn't affect you at all.
No, so I guess it'd be potter. It would be potter avalasa. That's what I'm assuming.
Potter avalasa is midarabanan. There's no. So they created a malacha it's a derabanan.
Yeah. We had this before with Havara.
But I thought all the malachas are learned from the Mishkan.
No, but
that's not. It's a smachta. What is it?
I don't know.
What? Isn't there a worse issue here?
I mean, there's a lot of worse issues. We're in the middle of Corona.
Well, first of all, right, there's a suffix on everyone else. There'd be
Doesn't that make every other one of the malachas? You're not
right
from everything.
Right? How could you be mechayiv and midiraisa? Suffix.
They're ganging up on me now. Now they're ganging up on me.
Every straws now has straw suffix.
The mazel lasted for 6 seconds.
That's right.
That's feelings from the mazel tov.
The good feelings. That's it. Now they're after me. Okay.
No, it's very poshut. There's 30 malachas midiraisa, and one of them is potter. That's the breaks.
The question is that if you don't know which one it is, it's suffix nefashis lahak.
Correct. That's true.
But now every single has.
Then you can't be mechayiv. You can only mechayiv one of them according to everyone.
Correct. According to
this
When you're on
Naviya.
the Sanhedrin Agadol, so you'll figure it out.
Right. That's what it is. According to this. Right.
If you're
According to this.
You're a good defense attorney, you'll get the guy off. That's.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
It seems like it's Pasha you could get the guy off just based off this Chia.
And Achanami, you wrote but that is the practical application from this Gemara.
How many Gemaras have we had about Hasra? With Hasra, without Hasra?
Right.
Everyone's Hasra's suffix.
It's an interesting. That's why it's a Megillah Starim. It's Shita, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No,
Yeah.
I think Rashi says because they couldn't write down the halacha because it was
Gershon.
Yeah.
Do you understand anything about Hasra? Well, guy has a gun where the guy's going to eat a hot dog, and two Yidden come over with nice hats and Weissazok, and they say, "Reb Yid, you're going to be over this, blah, 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 blah." And he says, "Hey, no, Hanami, I'm going into Nathan's." That's ever happened? You think that ever happened ever? So
There are people who are Mazidim.
Please, it never happened. Never ever
Good.
happened. Anything. Malchus, nothing. It doesn't work.
Givaldi, we're on the same team. I'd also like to believe there never was someone who was ever b'mezid.
Well, the Gemara says the Mekaishis died from some chayav, some was chayav misa for something. So obviously there was a way for them to be asked.
Yeah, but L'chara wasn't with Adam. Okay, that's a whole shaila.
Then how is he chayav misa without Adam?
That's that you could ask on anything that went on in the Mishkan in the Midbar. Yeah. Okay, let's see Vita. Yeah, so Tanur Rabbanan. I don't know. I'm saying it's a Megillah Starim, but they wrote down a lot of other things that they knew about, right? Akiva, I'm saying. Okay, let's see. Tanur Rabbanan. Mekaishis, that's Tzlavchad. Who was the Mekaishis? That was Tzlavchad. B'cheinu Omer, Vayu b'nei Yisroel b'midbar vayimtzu ish. Fine. Ulalanu Omer, Avinu veis b'midbar. Right, and our father died in the middle. Malahal and Tzlavchad. So who was the father that died? So that was the Benoist Tzlavchad coming that they wanted to get the inheritance because there were no boys, right? So it says Malahal and Tzlavchad, Afkan Tzlavchad, Dir Rebbe Kiva. Fine. So Rebbe Kiva says that the Mekaishish was actually Tzlavchad, and Tzlavchad was a Talmud Chacham. He was not. He was no slouch, right? So Amar Loi Rebbe Yehuda ben Beseira, Akiva Benkach or Benkach Hata Asa Litin Es Adin. But which either way, even if you're right, whichever way you go with this, you are going to get punished, right? If you're correct, so the Torah didn't tell us who the Mekashish was, so you're telling us. What gives you the business to tell us if the Torah hit it? So why are you telling us?
That's not true. The Torah did tell you. The Torah did tell you. The Torah tells you by hinting things.
Ah, good.
We learn a whole bunch of halachas.
Okay, what's that? Good, Naftali. I'll be the Gemaras. That's one of the terutzim. Right? And if you're wrong that the Mekashish was not Tzlavchad, then you're saying Lashon Hara on that tzaddik. Not Lashon Hara. Motzi Laz, Motzi Shemra. Velo Hagamar Gzeira Shava. Right? So he said, no, what do you mean? There's a Gzeira Shava. How can you ask this question on him that the Torah hid it? The Torah didn't hide it. The Torah is saying Gzeira Shava. It's a Gzeira Shava. That's not hidden. Right, so he answers. Gemara answers Gzeira Shava loy Gomar. No, the reason why he had a tain on him is because he doesn't learn the Gzeira Shava. Okay, which Rashi is a very interesting Rashi and Tosfos over here. That Rashi says the classic thing. I think Rashi says it. No. Yeah, Rashi in the top line says he never had the Messiah for that, and a person cannot make a Gzeira Shava for himself. Right. Tosfos says, why couldn't he learn the Gzeira Shava from Rebbe Kiva? So he said, Rabeinu Tam, this is a good, nice little Tosfos here. Kabbalah, minyan Gzeira Shava Shabachala Torah. They had a Alpi Kabbalah, not Alpi Kabbalah, through a Kabbalah, was handed down. They had a certain amount of Gzeira Shavas. V'zu ha'isi Yisera ala cheshbon. This would have made it one more. Therefore they were not Makabbalah. Right? Gershon, you don't like that Tosfos. It's Gishmak, that Tosfos. It's totally different than Rashi saying.
Huge.
You have to have a Messiah for Gzeira Shava. This one is like, no, this one was one more Gzeira Shava than they had. Okay.
That means that he knew all the thousands of Gzeira Shavas. He could list them off his fingers.
Okay, I don't know. That to me is not such a chiddush.
No, but for us, that's...
For us, I can laugh. I can tell you, I can't even tell you one Gzeira Shava. I should tell you.
Exactly. That's how little we can imagine.
Yeah. Ella mehecha hava. So where was it from? Meaning, if he didn't have it, right? If it wasn't tzlafchad, so then what chet was wrong? May viyapilu hava. Right? It was from vayapilu. Those were that Moshe said not to go up. To who was it to attack? Who was it again? Which nation? Moshe said not to go. Was it Canaan? No, it wasn't Canaan. I don't know. One of you guys must have it there, right? And they went anyways, right? So Rashi says so that punishment was not meaning that was not as bad as Chil Shabbos. Okay, meaning we're asking how did Tzlafcha die? Why did Tzlafcha die? Because he went up and he went against Moshe's words, and he was part of the people that attacked, even though Moshe said not to attack. So Rashi says that's less of a isser than saying that he's a Mechal Shabbos. Okay. Fine. Similarly, there's a similar situation. Right? Hashem was angry at them. And he went. We learn out from that even Aron got tzoraas. Right? That's what Rebbe Kiva is saying. Either way, you're gonna get punished for saying this. If it's like you're saying, the Torah hid it that Aron got tzoraas, and you're revealing it. And if you're wrong and Aron didn't get tzoraas, then you're being motzilaz on that tzaddik. He disagrees, and it was that Aron did not have tzoraas, or he shouldn't have said it. What are you saying?
What does that mean? The Torah hid it. Rabbi Akiva darshaned all the tagim. That seems pretty hidden to most people. Moshe didn't even understand what he was doing.
Right, but I think
that he was allowed to do. Well, maybe he was not allowed to do that.
Okay, I hear that, but I think it's the lashon hara shaboy that Aron got punished, which I don't understand because the punishment, the lashon hara part, is in the Torah. The punishment, right. What's so schwer about the punishment? Right? See, by the Mekoshish, he said it's tzlafchad, so now you're saying a tzaddik did something wrong. But in the Torah, unless you say really it was not Aron wasn't involved, it was only Miriam. And does the pasuk say that Aron was involved? It was just Miriam and Moshe. It could be saying, isn't the end of this week's parsha? I'm not up there.
Aron was being right. Aaron, it was told over to Aron.
It was told over to Aron? Aron was in on it the whole time? Okay, so now I don't understand why
he listens to Aaron. It was Lamaisa, whether it had a substance, there may have been a rationale to listen.
Right, but I'm saying, but he's only saying the punishment. He's not saying that Aron did something wrong. That the Torah does.
I hear it.
Yeah,
could
okay,
be.
I don't know.
Could be that if the rabeinu Shalom may have considered it lashon hara because of Aron's madrega, but when he says that he got tzoraas, that means the halacha it was lashon hara. That's taking it a little bit further, maybe.
Oh, she's saying
that we can understand the rabeinu Shalom considered it something. Fine, right. That's on Aron's madrega. But to say that Aron did something that on our level would be lashon hara.
Okay, but I'm saying it said it about.
Yaakov, that's the Gemara's next question. The Gemara asks. It says that they got tzoraas.
No, the Gemara's next question is from. It says bum. You have to darshan it.
Right. So the Gemara answered that Hashem censored him. He didn't really consider it tzoraas for him. I mean, he wasn't chayav for it. That's the Gemara's.
Okay, but saying, but
in the Gemara's teretz.
The main thing
meaning
is
he didn't have to
darshan. The main thing is that he's revealing that Aron did something wrong. Thank you. That's the main thing. That the Torah revealed that he got punished. Okay. I don't know. Velo aksiv bum. So the Gemara said on the widest line. It says bum. That was just to really the translation of Nazifas. That was just to be angry at him, right? That's what it meant. It didn't mean that he would actually get punished. So I guess by showing that he got punished means he really did do something wrong. Okay. Tani Kamandomer Af Aron Nitzdar. We have a brisa that says that even Aron got tzoraas. The Chsiva Yifen Aron el Miriam. Bina mitzaras. And Aron turned to Miriam, and she was the tzoraas. Tana shapana mitzarasoi. He turned, when it says vayifen, it means he turned to her from his tzoraas. Meaning that he also had a tzoraas. Fine. Somebody who's choshev b'ksherim gets malchus in his body. Right, so what was this talking about? This is when Hashem was asking Moshe to go tell Klal so that he's going to get him out of Mitzrayim. So Moshe said, they're not going to believe me. Right? And it was revealed in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that Yisroel, Klal Yisrael would believe him. That lashon too, for those that are into Hashkafa, I don't get that sentence. It was revealed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When it was revealed, he's calling the shots. Okay. Right, he knew that they were going to believe him. You, the parrot's song of the daf. Hey maminim, or at least quasi. Hey maminim, b'nei maminim. They're believers, sons of believers. Va'ata ain't seifach lahamin. And you are not going to end up believing in the end. Hey maminim, the siva yamin that the nation believed Moshe. B'nei maminim v'hem b'Hashem. And that's talking about Avram Avinu, when Avram Avinu believed in Hashem. Ata ain't seifach lahamin. You, Moshe, are not going to believe. Shenemar yan lo yaman to be. Right, so Moshe got punished for hitting the rock because he didn't believe Hashem. He might look. How do you know he was? How do you know that he got malchus or punished? Yeah. Go put your hand into your. No, I'm sorry. No, that was not talking about. Yeah, no, it is right. Put your hand into your shirt, and it's going to come out with tzoraas. Okay, so Amar Rav, now that's the end of the vacation. Oh no, one more, right? A little bit more. Well, I'm sorry, a few more lines if I got it, to then vacation's over. Amar Rav, Vitem Rav Yosef Rav Chanina. Mida Tova Maheres Lovim Mida Peronius. The Mida Tova comes quicker than Mida Peronius. The Ilu Mida Peronius Ksiva Yetzia Vihena Yodim Tzoraas. They took it out by Mitzrayim when he was showing the Mitzrayim that they were having this competition, right, over who can do more shtick. So they took it out, Vihena Yodim Tzoraas, and his hand was Tzoraas Keshelim, like white like snow. Ilu B'Mida Tova Ksiva Yetzia Vayetzia Mechekoi. Right, the second it came out, Mechekoi, his hand was healed. Again, he put his hand in there and it came out tzoraas. Then he put it back in, came out healthy. So it doesn't say v'hine or anything like that. It just says v'yotzei micheko. That second. V'hine shava kibsarei michek. I'm sorry, I explained it before I read it. V'hilu b'mida toiva ksiva yotzei micheko. V'hine shava kibsarei. Micheko hu the shava kibsarei. Right from his chest, it returned to his regular basar. Yeah, fine. So v'yivla mata Aron is matoisam. So this is just a parenthetical line we're reading here. And Moshe's stick swallowed theirs. It was a nes b'soich nes, right? Because there were two nisim, right? Once it wasn't that it was a snake that swallowed the other snakes. It first became back into a stick, and then it swallowed, right? Fine. Now we go back to Rosh Hashanah. Boy, Rabba. This is not such an easy Gemara. I don't know if I should warn Olam of that because I want the Olam to try and chop it, but it's not so easy. Boy, Rava, Lamata Me'asara Pligi. Again, in the Mishnah was saying you pass from Rosh Hashanah from Rosh Hashanah through Rosh Hashanah. So we had a machlokes whether you chayav, right? So the question is this talking about above 10 or below 10? Boy, Rava, Lamata Me'asara Pligi. They're having a machlokes below 10 or below Pligi, and what is the machlokes? The Mar Savar, because one holds Amrina Kluta Kamashahuncha, which we had way back. That if it goes through a property, it's as if it rested on the property. Meaning, when I throw a ball, let's say, through a property, we look at that ball like it rested on the ground. That's in the Shivish terms, it's called Kluta. You don't say Kluta Kamashahuncha. You just say, you want to go short version. So you say it's Kluta. It literally means it's swallowed or absorbed, meaning when something flies through a airspace, it's as if it's on the ground. Umar Savar lo yamrina Kluta. One says that you don't say Kluta. So they're having disagreement less than 10. Kluta lo yamrina Kluta kamashun chaval lamala me'asara divrei akol potter. And if it's above 10, everybody holds his potter. V'lo yalfin and zarik mi Moshe. And you don't learn out throwing from handing things. Meaning, because in the Mishkan, how did they pass the boards? What do you call it? The crushing. What the crushing, right?
Crusher.
Yeah. So how did they? But those were the pillars, right? The pillars. So they handed it. So how can you learn if the Mishkan, they handed it, so how can you learn out throwing from handing? Right? So we're saying nobody holds you learn out Zarek from Moshe, and that's all. Oidilma is going to say the exact opposite. Lamala me'asara pligi, the whole machlokes is above 10. Ubaha pligi, and this is the machlokes. The Marsavar Yalfin and Zarek from Moshe. One holds you learn out throwing from handing. Marsavar lo Yalfin and Zarek from Moshe. And one holds you don't learn out Zarek from Moshe. But if it's below 10, everybody holds is chayav. My timer, kluta kamashuncha damya, because everybody holds that kluta, when it goes through the airspace, it's as if it was resting. So Amar Rav Yosef Hamilsi Bailei Rav Chisda Upashta Nehele Rav Hamnuna. Rav Chisda had this question, how to learn this machlokes, and Rav Hamnuna answered it for him. Meha from this. It says you go from Rishus Yachid to Rishus Yachid, and you pass through the etzem, through I don't know how to translate. Through the actual Rishus Harabim. Rabbi Kiva mechayev v'chacham poichim. Rabbi Kiva says chayav chacham say potem. Rishus Harabim atzma. It says why do you have to use the word atzma? Pshito lamata me'asara pligi. If it's saying in the actual Rishus Harabim, so it must be saying that it's going on less than 10. And then what's it on? If you say it's below 10, then you chayav on below 10, but above 10 you're not chayav. If you carry a load, right? We had this a couple of blot ago, 5 blot ago. If you carry a load above 10, chayav, you're chayav. Shekain masa b'nei kahos. That was the way the b'nei, like this week's parsha. That's the way the b'nei kahos carried things. Elalav b'zayrek. It must be talking about where he threw it. Ulamata me'asaru hu d'mechayev. Lamala me'asaru lo mechayev. Right? If it's somewhere throwing and it's below 10, and that's where you're chayav, but above 10 you're not chayav. Shema minah. The kluta kamasha uncha pligi shema minah. So it must be that the whole machlokes is by kluta kamasha uncha, but there's no machlokes that we don't learn out. We do not learn out throwing from handing. That's his way of learning it. Pliga the Rebbe Lazar, and he disagrees with Rebbe Lazar. Rebbe Lazar mechayev Rebbe Kiva afilu l'malam yud. Rebbe Kiva says even above 10 you're chayav. B'hai dekatani meaning both. You're chayav from below 10 and above 10. B'hai dekatani Rishus Harabim atzma, and this that it says the Rishus Harabim itself, which we said l'chara means atzma means below 10. It's coming to tell you the strength of the Rabbanon. That's Mahalach number 2, how to learn the machlokes in the Mishnah. And he disagrees with Rav Chelke bar Tuvi. If it's within 3 tvachim of the ground, so we know that's lavud, so then for sure it's chayav. Because we look at it for sure that it came to rest in the Rishus Harabim. So it went from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim, then to Rishus Hayachid. Above 10, everybody says it's potter, because we're not going to learn out throwing from handing. From 3 to 10 is the machlokes Rabbi Kiva Rabbanon. I think that's pretty much all the options with which to learn the machlokes. We got 3 different opinions of how to learn the machlokes in the Mishnah of throwing between Rishus Hayachid to another Rishus Hayachid through Rishus Harabim. We have a brisa that says like this, that within 3 everybody holds his chayav. Right? Above 10 it would be also only midrabanan, not midaraisa. But if the properties belong to him, meaning the Rishus Hayachid, this guy is a real estate tycoon, and he's got property on both sides of the street. Mutter, and if it be his own rishuyas, and above 10 it would be mutter. Which we'll get to soon. From 3 to 10 is the machlokes Reb Kiva and the Chachamim. Fine. So Amar Mar, if you had 2 houses, one on each side of the street, you'd be able to throw from one to the other. It's even mutter, right? Let's say this proves Rav. The Itmar Shnei Batim B'Shnei Tzidei Rishus Harabim. If you have 2 houses on 2 sides of the street of Rishus Harabim, Rav Bar Avuna Amar Rav also Lizrak Mizel Lezeh. Right, so Rav says you're not allowed to throw from one to the other. But Shmuel Amar Mutter Lizrak Mizel Lezeh. You are allowed to throw from this one to this one. And didn't we say that there, where the machlokes is, that's where one porch was above the other porch, meaning the porches were not on the equal level. So let's say one was on the 3rd floor, one was on the first floor. Right? Because sometimes when you're trying to throw from one porch to the other porch and they're not on the same level, inevitably you're going to miss. And then the ball that you're trying to throw is going to fall into Rosh Hashanah. Right? Yeah, so that's the answer. So the reason why there's a machlokes is because the porches are on different levels. But if the porches would be on the same level, we're saying everybody would agree that it would be okay. If you own both houses, you have to own both houses. Right, fine. Where do we know this thing from the Rabbanon? Now, this is a major Gemara here. Not so important necessarily, but I'm not one. I'm just saying as opposed to when I say that this is a very practical Gemara, meaning it's not necessarily so practical. But how do we know lavud? How do we know that anything less than 3 is considered attached? The reason is because you cannot take a Rishus Harabim and smooth it out with a malakin and a rehitni. A malakin and a rehitni is what do you call sanding? I don't know, sanding.
Mortar and pestle? What is it?
Plane.
No, not a mortar and pestle. It's
a plane.
A plane. A plane.
Sanding
The
the plane.
smear the plaster with. The plaster guys. Smear it. Meaning, Rishus Harabim is not flat. It comes with little bumps and this and that, and we're not going to require you to flatten it out. So you have to say that it's all Rishus Harabim. So the assumption is that up until 3 tfachim, that's considered like flat. So that's what it has to be lavud. Right? You're not going to say that if it's on a little bump, that's not a Rishus Harabim. Anything within 3 is going to be Rishus Harabim. Iachi gimel nami. Why not 3 too? Why does it have to be less than 3? Right? Kasu, another question. So now it's talking about making a sukkah. Right? So let's say you make a sukkah wall and you leave the bottom open, meaning you start from the top and you leave a space at the bottom. So mashalshal literally means to lower. Tefanis milamal lamata, you're lowering the walls from the top to the bottom. If the wall ends above 3 tvachim, it's puzzle. But if it's less than 3, that's going to be ksheira. So there, the reason why it's a problem is because it has to be a mechitza that a gedi has to keep out goats. And if you leave it within 3 tvachim above the ground, the goats will be able to get under it. Right? So fine. So that's how we know that. But tinach lamata lamala me'ayikul lamema. That will tell you that a source for lavud from the bottom. But we say lavud on top of a sukkah too. Right? We say lavud everywhere. So how do you know that you say lavud even on the top? When this, that we say that anything less than 3 is considered touching, that is halacha l'Moshe Sinai. So there's nothing to talk about. All right, so that's the second time in a blot that we couldn't find a source for something, and we just said it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Okay, Tana Rabbanan. Now this is the opposite case of our Mishnah. This is our Mishnah. We've been discussing Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaYachid with Rishus HaRabim in the middle. Now we're discussing Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaRabim, and the Rishus HaYachid is in the middle. Right? So Rebbe Mechayev v'Chacham Pajim. Rebbe says Chayav and Chacham Pater. So Rabbi Shmuel Damri Tavai Lo Chayav Rebbe Ela Rishus HaYachid Mekoira. Right? We're only talking about a Rishus HaYachid that has a roof on it. Damrina Basic Command Damalia Dami. Here's another interesting law or rule. We look at a house. If it has a roof on it, we look at it like it's totally full, the house. So Mamela, it's going to be landing on the floor, right? But if the Rishus HaYachid doesn't have a roof on it, then we don't look at it like it landed. Again, he threw it from Rishus HaRabim to another Rishus HaRabim with the Rishus HaYachid through the middle. So we look at the whole house. It didn't land anywhere in the house. It went right through one window, went out the other window, right? So we don't look at it. It didn't land in the Rishus HaYachid. It's Akibi Chayav. So he's saying this rule of the house is looked at like it's filled in. So really we look at it like it did land on the floor. Now, why don't you just say the ruling of Kluta? So that's already something else. Yeah? So, but if it doesn't have a roof, we're not going to say this then. So Amar Rav Chana, Amar Rav Yudah, Amar Shmuel, Mechayev hayu Rebbe Shtayim. Rebbe was Mechayev you twice. Achas v'shum ha'tzov, achas v'shum ha'chnasa. Meaning it's going from Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaRabim through Rishus HaYachid. How many times are you chayav? Once or twice? Because it went from Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaYachid then from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. So you chayav twice, you chayav once. So Yosef Rav Chana b'kokashale. So Rav Chana sat and he had this kasha, and he had a kasha. If you're saying that it's twice, are you saying that Rebbe is mechayev a toldah b'makam av? Batanya Rebbe Omer. We said that Rebbe says dvarim had dvarim, eila had dvarim. Right? It says we had this Gemara way back. Well, not way back, 15 blot ago. Right? It says dvarim had dvarim, eila had dvarim. Right? So that's elu lamites malachas. Right? Eila is 36, and then dvarim is 2, and had dvarim is another one. So that's how you get 39 malachas. Shenever l'Moshe Messinai. So Amar Rav Yosef Mar ahomasti lavakashali. Mar had this said it on this, and he had a kasha. I have a kasha the Rebbe had the Rebbe. He said it on what Rebbe said, and therefore he has a stira from one Rebbe to another Rebbe. Because one place Rebbe seems to say you're going to be chayav for each and every av and toldah, and the other one seems like you're going to be chayav only one if you do the av and the toldah. Anan Rabbi Yehuda masninon v'loy kashalon. We learned it on Rabbi Yehuda, and we don't have any kasha. The Tanya. Let's say you carried from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, and you passed over Dalet Amos in Rosh Hashanah. Meaning, so you did two things wrong, right? You went from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, and then it went 4 Amos in the Rosh Hashanah. Those are two different isurim, by the way. We have to make that clear. There's two different isurim. There's a isur to carry from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. There's also an isur to carry Dalet Amos in Rosh Hashanah. So here, seemingly both happen. Rabbi Yehuda mechayev, so Rabbi Yehuda says chayav, a chama paitim. Right? And the chama say pater. So Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel mechayev, Rabbi Yehuda shtayim, achas v'shum haitzah, v'achas v'shum havara. He's chayav 2. One because he carried out from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, and one because he carried 4 amas in Rosh Hashanah. He's talking about the chadu the mechayev, because if you would say that he's only mechayev you one, bechlal the rabbanon pati legamri. That means when the rabbanon say pater, that means they're saying totally pater. But but he carried from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. How can you say that he'd be pater? Right? Again, let's just repeat this just to clarify it. So there's this case where a person carried through something from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. Oh, well, either he threw it. No, let's say he carried it right from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, and then he went 4 amas in Rosh Hashanah. So he did two things wrong. So the Chachamim say you're pater, and Rabbi Yehuda says chayav. Now, so the Gemara is saying, if Rabbi Yehuda is saying chayiv on one, that means the Chachamim are saying potter, you're getting nothing, right? Meaning, if you say Rabbi Yehuda is chayiv twice, and the Chachamim say potter means you're potter on one, okay, right? But if you say Rabbi Yehuda is saying chayiv on one, that means the Chachamim saying potter totally. He carried from Rosh Hashanah. So how can he be potter? How can the Rabbanan possibly explain that somebody carries from Rosh Hashanah and he'll be potter? So Gemara says, "No, really, maybe Yehuda is only chayav you one. Rabbanon patri legamri, and the Rabbanon say you pater totally. How can you find a case where somebody carries from private property to public property and he is pater? Right when it gets, he says in his head, when I'm putting this thing out to Rosh Hashanah, I want it to rest immediately. Right? This is with the machlokes. We do say this rule that Rosh Hashanah absorbs right away, and it's looked at as if it fell onto Rosh Hashanah right away. And his machshava was done, right? Because he said, I want to take this thing, pick it up in Rosh Hashanah, drop it in Rosh Hashanah, throw it into Rosh Hashanah. So, and we say kluta, the second it hits the airspace of Rosh Hashanah, we look at it like it fell down Rosh Hashanah, and he's chayav. We don't say kluta is like it's huncha, but and what he wanted to do wasn't done because it didn't land in the Rosh Hashanah. Toldah, but a toldah that Rabbi Yehuda is chayav, a toldah that you can't think. Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Moshe af hashoyvet v'medaktik. Rabbi Yehuda added on even somebody who takes, remember we discussed yesterday, the what's that metal thing that you put it through the loom, right? So shoyvet means to hit it, and medaktik means to straighten out the threads that are going on the loom. So amruloi shoyvet hareu bechlal mesach. Shoyvet, why are you saying you're adding 2 more malachas, shoyvet and medaktik? Shoyvet is included in mesach, and medaktik hareu bechlal oirig, and medaktik is part of weaving. My love, davdinu l'tavaya b'hadi adadi. isn't it that he did both of them at the same time? And we see that Rabbi Yehuda was mechayev told him Akamav, right? So you see that Rabbi Yehuda does. No, maybe he did the hitting of the loom one time, and then he remembered that it was Shabbos, then he forgot, and then he set up the threads, right? But Rabbi Yehuda told him Akamav, maybe he did each one. That's it. Maybe who says he did it both at the same time? Second word says, Rabbi Yehuda told him Akamav, loy mechayev. Is Rabbi Yehuda not mechayev you on a told him Akamav? Rabbi Yehuda savar hani avos ninu. These are avos. Rabbanan Sami hani told us ninu. They're told us they're not avos. Teda, how do you know? To Ketani Rabbi Yehuda Moisef. Rabbi Yehuda says Moisef. He adds on Iyar Bishlam avos. If you hold it's avos, my Moisef avos. Does Moisef mean he added on avos? It can't be he's adding on avos. We know that there's 39 malachas. Elo Iyar told us I'm sorry. My Moisef. If I said it the wrong way. If you say that he's saying avos, so what did he add on to the lamites? He added on avos. Eliyah told us my Moisef. What is Moisef? So it manami Rav Yosef. Rav Yehuda ela achas. Rav Yehuda is only chayav once. Told him rabeinu l'rashi l'may desalek adaytem meikara. This that we thought in the beginning. The mechayev Rav Yehuda shtayim. Rav Yehuda be mechayev two. Meaning, why are we saying you chayvim too? Why can you say, well, maybe you have to know exactly where you're throwing the thing into the Rosh Hashanah. If he wants it here, then here he doesn't want it. And if he wants it in this spot, then he doesn't want it here. Right? So maybe, meaning, in order to be chayav for carrying, what we're saying is that you have to know exactly, it has to be done exactly with your intent. So let's say you basically say, I want it to land exactly on the 50-yard line, let's say. And if it doesn't land on the 50-yard line, that was not his intent. So he should be putter. That's what we're saying, right? So maybe that's what's going on here too. So the one answers, no, it's not. It's talking about where he said, which is not a very smart thing for the person to say here, right? It'd be much smarter if you say if you want to get this thing to Rosh Hashanah, you say, I just wanted to go to this specific spot. And if you're lucky enough that it doesn't go there, so you putter because that wasn't your intention. But this guy wasn't so smart. So what he said was, I'm throwing into Rosh Hashanah, wherever it lands, I'm happy with it. So his happy-go-lucky attitude actually cost him, because that ends up being that's exactly what he wanted to do. Okay, I'm sorry if it's a complicated Amud, but fine. All right, good enough. It's 6 o'clock tomorrow, Bez Hashem. Yes. Huh?
Let us know if there's a Shalom Zachar.
I'll let you know. It might be like, we make late Shabbos. It might might be way past your bedtime, though.
I don't think so. I wouldn't pass up a free beer. I'm sorry.
Well, that you got to speak to parents about.
Landa, who said it's free?
Oh, God. I knew I'm going to get killed.
Charging admission. We're going to be the first charging admission Shalom Zachar. Parents will have dried fruit and hot dogs and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, working on it now.
All right, bye.
Yeah.
Yaakov.
Yes.
In the last line of the Gemara, there was a difference between the Havamim.
And he froze.
He's frozen.
In the Havamim, it says Kavod.
You froze.
I know Cleveland's supposed to be cold in the winter, but all this freezing is already a little much.
Me?
Yeah.
It's been 90 degrees here. And we're still frozen?
Now you're okay.
Now I'm okay?
Yeah.
Okay, in the last line, in the Kasha, it says, Ilahacha kabayla, lacha kibayla. That's a Lashon necessity. In the answer, it says, wherever it wants. There's a difference. I don't think the Gemara is saying that if in my machshava I wanted it to go to the 50-yard line and it went to 49.5, I'm going to be patur.
Right.
It's if I needed it somewhere, then I'm going to be patur if it doesn't make it there. Because it's talking not my machshava. If I want it there, it goes.
You're saying the option, if it's optional, then it doesn't apply? Is that what you say?
A half a yard short. My machshava is that it goes over there. I wanted someone near it. That's fine. So 49 yards or 51 yards is the same thing. But if I need it to land on the 50-yard line, and it doesn't, that's an interception.
Right. I hear. I didn't think of that like that. It's really
That's
tomorrow's
that bad.
stuff.
That's Badapka, not my machshava.
I hear. I never thought of it like that. It's
Yeah.
really more tomorrow's daf. No?
Yeah, a
Paying
little
me
bit.
Shimon and the 4 Amos, 8 Amos, we have to see. You're giving me my homework a shtickle for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna now you give me a job. Okay. I hope to remember to work on it. Try and get shot. All right, I gotta go to Myriv.
All right, enjoy.
All right,
Mazel
good to
tov.
know. Shkoyach, thank you.
Parrot, you still there?